Trump has recently said that Ukraine should not have started the war. Oh my god. And supposedly Trump doesn't rule out the possibility of Ukraine giving up territories as part of this peace deal. So long story short, it's basically a total victory for Russia from what it seems like right now. And as an anti-Putin Russian, I'm not happy to admit this in the slightest. But at this point, guys, I mean, who is surprised?
You know, leave it to him to complain about possible friendship between the United States and Russia, essentially ending the possibilities of a third world war. It's very strange to me when I see people like this because, especially this guy, he used to ride on the United States SAC, and now that my country and his country can be friends, he's not liking it. He complains so much about it, but it's not only people in Russia who may complain about a possible friendship between the United States and Russia. I'm sure that there's a liberal somewhere in the streets of New York screaming at the top of their lungs that this conflict in Ukraine is going to be over and that Russia and the United States will be friends. It'll look something like this.
I am so sorry to my world. I am so sorry to my world. This is not what we want.
It is very sad that these two people, the guy in the first clip and the guy or girl in the second clip, cannot understand that a win-win situation is better for the world. Often we see people who hate themselves or their country or other countries want a win-lose situation all the time. They always want to win and they want the other guy to lose at all time. But this makes the world a worse place. In the end, when Russia and the United States see eye to eye, it's a better world. And the good thing is that we don't have to live in those people's world. This is reality, and the United States and Russia are currently in talks and negotiations to have a win-win situation. Now, a lot of the news are trying to report on this, but it seems like even they are falling into the realization that Russia is going to get what it wants because it has fought for it, and the United States has to agree with it, and this is going to be a win-win situation. Check out this news reporter. Look how they worded everything.
Developing news tonight, President Trump says he's going to work with Russian President Vladimir Putin to end the war in Ukraine. Trump says he wants the peace talks to happen in Saudi Arabia. The Trump administration also says Ukraine reclaiming land from Russia won't happen and calls Ukraine joining NATO impractical.
There you go. Even the news in America are letting you know that the land that the Russians have fought for is not going to be given back. And Ukraine joining NATO, which is the reason why we're all here in this almost catastrophic situation, it's not going to happen. And this is a win for Russia, and it's a win for the United States because guess what? It doesn't have to continue funding the Europeans. It doesn't have to continue funding the proxy war. And I'm pretty sure I, as a war veteran, I wouldn't want to continue sending weapons, to continue seeing the death toll rise, and we just want this to end, and we don't want a third world war. So this is what a win-win situation looks like. But give me your opinion so far. Are you in the camp where you don't want a win-win and you want to continue going down this road of lunacy? Now, we understand that both countries don't really trust each other, but in the past, President Trump has actually had really good relationship with President Vladimir Putin. And why is it that now people are thinking that it's not going to work out when it's worked out in the past between these two people? But it's not all happiness and rainbows, because guess what? There is still some news that are going to be reporting negatively on this. And well, here's a clip to show you, give you an example of just how negative some of the news can be in the United States.
What's concerning is the continued ongoing conversations with President Putin. And as far as I know, I haven't even seen a readout of that call, just that the president did confirm that he spoke with Vladimir Putin. And I think what's extremely concerning here is that we're continuing to see these conversations happen in a one-sided silo with Ukraine not at the table. At the end of the day, this is about Ukraine's sovereign territory. It is up to Ukraine to decide how they negotiate and what a negotiation and possible deal might look like.
And they want to spin it off like it's Ukraine's decision. Well, it's not. Guess what? We are here because of the proxy war that we started, right? We already know that. We know that the past deals that the West made with Russia failed, and we know that we're here because the West wanted to go with Russia against Russia, and they failed. So now it's up to the West to fix this problem. Ukraine was just a pawn in the chess game. It had nothing to do with this, and we all know it. I'm sorry if this is offending some people, by the way. I just want to let you guys know that I'm very happy that things are going in the right direction. We are probably going to be seeing better relationship between these two countries, Russia and the United States, in a very near future. Now, I wanted also to talk about how there's distrust, obviously, like you just saw, distrust in Russia from some Americans. Well, this is what President Trump had to say when he was asked if President Putin would keep his word.
Mr. President, what would you be willing to do if Vladimir Putin did not stick to the terms of any deal on Ukraine? Because he has a history of not sticking to his word.
I think he'll keep his word. I think I've spoken to him. I've known him for a long time now. You know, I've known him. We had to go through the Russian hoax together. That was not a good thing. It's not fair. That was a rigged deal and had nothing to do with Russia. It was a rigged deal with inside the country. And they had to put up with that, too. They put up with a lot. It wasn't just us. They had to put up with it, with a phony story that was made up. I've known him for a long time now, and I think he will. I don't believe he's going to violate his word. I don't think he'll be back. When we make a deal, I think the deal's going to hold.
I truly believe that what President Trump said is what bothers so many people, is that he will not call out President Putin for things that he didn't do. He called that Russian hoax out from the very beginning, and it got proved to be a hoax, and he's calling it out again. This interviewer from England, perhaps her accent, is trying to instigate something, saying that the Russians and Putin never keep their word, when we know now also that it's true that it was the West that didn't keep its word and it expanded east. Now, again, this is just out there. You can find it yourself, and it's the truth. This is the reality. The reason why this video is being made is because I believe that we could be friends again. Why couldn't we be friends? If we have two presidents that are in their mind, two presidents that actually can articulate a thought, and they're coming together. This is good times. This is good news for everyone in the world. Russia has proven itself to be a superpower. It is finally seeing eye to eye with the West and with the United States. It seems that the United States finally recognizes, and it should have recognized a long time ago, that Russia is an equal. It's a global power, it's a superpower, and it's a country that's going to defend itself. Now, one of the funnier things to come out in the news recently is the fact that the United States, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, made a golden visa, essentially where rich people could buy what used to be a green card. He's just saying like green card plus. You can buy your green card for $5 million. And this is what he had to say when he was asked if Russians could do this.
Taxes will go down to nothing.
Would a Russian oligarch be eligible for a gold card?
Yeah, possibly. Hey, I know some Russian oligarchs that are very nice people. It's possible. They're not quite as wealthy as they used to be. They're not as wealthy as they used to be. I think they can afford. I think they can afford $5 million.
So
the reality is, what Russian oligarchs, what Russian with a lot of money would actually want to go to the United States and invest his money there? You know, Russian people are not dumb. There's much better opportunities in the European continent, in the Asian continent. I feel like, you know, I love my country. I'm still an American at the end of the day, but there's nothing to invest in there. And I truly believe that it was kind of a joke for President Putin if he sees that, like President Trump talking about golden visa for oligarchs and him saying that they're not as rich. It's just, it doesn't make sense. I don't think that Russian oligarchs are going to be running to the United States and buying this golden visa. It makes no sense. But the fact that he openly says, yeah, why not? Why wouldn't we allow them? It's showing that, hey, by the way, we're open to making business with the Russians. And I truly believe that one of the biggest reasons why the United States is being so friendly now is because it actually realizes that it needs Russia more than ever. It's no secret that President Donald Trump absolutely probably dislikes China more than anything in the world.
Let's say China. 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 China.
It was like his huge thing, China, China, China in the beginning. And you all know that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So more than ever, Trump wants to kind of be friends and hug it out with Russia. I believe this is why he's doing it. Every president has a conflict, whether it be militarily, economically, diplomatically. And President Trump just always aims his huge barrel or stick at China. And Russia is in between the United States and China. And this could be a big reason why they can be friends. Again, please let me know, comment down below if you're optimistic about this or you're a pessimist. I myself, as a Mexican American, I'd rather be optimistic about things, right? Because again, we have had better relationships with Russia in the past under President Donald Trump's presidency. And I believe that the president of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, actually does trust Donald Trump more than he trusts the previous presidents. And you can see this because out of nowhere they start talking, right? We all heard about the call. They've been talking to each other. And this is not something that we had in 4 years under President Biden. And if we would have had a President Kamala Harris, you know, we probably wouldn't be talking to the Russians for the next 4 years. The reason why we actually could be friends is because Russia and the United States share the similar values. Whether you want to accept it or not, even though in the United States we go like this, left, right, the truth is that American society has so much in common with Russian society. And well, we're going to go back to the original first clip so that you can see the realization of this situation setting into this young man's head. Check it out. And before I show you the clip, I just wanted to show you right before it enters his brain and right before he's going to talk about it, he's like, but okay, here it goes.
I mean, makes a lot of sense because Russia and the United States right now, you know, they do coincide in their traditional values, right? Like recently Trump passed an executive order that there's only 2 genders. So Russia can't even say that they're fighting against like Western gender ideology anymore and Western degeneracy. Now America and Russia are on the same sides. This meme right here where America defends Russia from Ukraine has become a reality.
You see that? You see how reality sinks in and he has to accept it. By the way, it's so weird to me that he finds it insulting that Americans want there to be only 2 genders, and this is what we want in the United States, or else we would have voted against it. No, the United States wants that, and yes, it has similar values than Russia, and yes, this is why they're natural friends. And I thought that meme was funny, so I let that part in. But anyways, please let me know in the comment section what you think. These were just my thoughts. I've made many videos like these in the past where I talk about possible friendship between the United States and Russia, and the majority of you said that we would never be even neutral again. And well, thank God I was right, because in my videos I was being optimistic because we do share similar values. When the populations of both countries see eye to eye, the world can be a better place. When you have a win-win situation between Russia and the United States, the world is a safer place. So leave me all your comments, leave me all your thoughts or all the hate down below. I appreciate you watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.